Hello, my friends. Welcome to EdTech with Adam. Today, we're continuing on with our collaborative annotation platform comparison series, and we're going to be looking at Microsoft. And in particular, today we'll look at Microsoft Word. And in the next video, we'll talk about Microsoft OneNote. And this is following right on the tail of Google Docs and Google Jamboard. So we'll be able to make some nice comparisons there. So here we are in Microsoft Word. We're using the browser-based platform here. It's easy to use. It's something you can share with your students quite easily as well. Again, if you're using it in a learning management system, then you don't have to worry about inviting your students because they will already be rostered to your class. But let's say for our example here, we are going to invite our students manually, send it out to all their emails. And I'm going to go to my go-to OpenStax.org astronomy resource, and I'm just going to, as always, just grab this. And again, I can always either right-click and copy or press Control-C. And then we'll go back to Word, and we'll press Control-V. And here we go, we have it all ready. Now, let's dive right into our table. So as with all of the other platforms, we have this table telling us all of the things that we can and cannot do in Microsoft Word, starting off with the collaborative annotation. So very similar to Google Docs, we highlight whatever we want. And this time, instead of going into a little button at the side, we get this little pop-up here with formatting stuff, and we're going to click on New Comment, and we can make whatever comment for our annotation here that we like. We can say, ooh, tour of the universe. Oh no. The universe. There we go. We have a comment there. Let's just make a few more here as usual. Planetary system, Earth from other planets. Maybe I want to ask a question or start a conversation. What other planets do you know about? And let's do one more, and I'll do the same as I did before. Another off-topic question. What TV shows are you binging right now? Excellent. So this checks off the boxes for the first thing in the table. Let's jump into the next thing, which is responding to annotations. So we're going to jump over to the student account here. And here I am. This is from the student view. And for a student, just for the sake of doing it, we can just make a quick annotation so we can see what it looks like when another person makes an annotation. We could say, oh, wow, that's high up. So you can see that we have a little bit of a different spacing here between annotations, and the actual format of how these annotation windows show up on the side is quite a bit different from a lot of the other platforms. This one shows a clear, quick space to reply instead of clicking on a reply button or something like that. So let's go ahead here and say, I like the universe. So I go ahead and respond to that, and you can see it's separated by sort of the little bubble colors there, so we can kind of differentiate between who is saying what. Let's make another couple, maybe I'll do one more here. What other planets? How about Saturn? And let's do one other thing. What TV show am I binging? I am binging Tiger King. All right, so that's what it looks like when we're annotating. We can see here that similar to Google Docs, we get sort of the annotation pushed up into the sky here when we have some different things going on. And let's just go through. And now, a little bit different from Google Docs, another thing we notice here is that for the annotations, we have to kind of go to these bubbles on the side here to view the annotations. And it looks like when we're not viewing them, the annotations actually disappear, which is a little unfortunate if I want to see all of the annotations at once. Let's move on to the next item in our table here, which is being able to differentiate between the annotations. And we can see here that when you go through the annotations, you have to kind of look at the window to see who made the annotation. And we can't really filter out, and I'm just looking at the options here, there's no way that we can actually filter out any of these annotations. So if I only wanted to see one student's annotations and hide everything else, there's not really any way of doing that. So if you're looking at grading some annotations here, it might be a little bit difficult in Microsoft Word. So how about the next thing in the list? I'm going to go back to the teacher's side. So back onto the teacher's account, and here from the teacher's view, I can see that I have all of the comments on the side here as well. So here we have a different view, which I believe depends on whether you're the owner of the document or whether you are just a collaborator. And you can see here the teacher is the owner, and then on the other side, the student is just a collaborator. So they have a slightly different view here. So back to the teacher, can we edit the original document? Yes, we can, which again, it's good for collaborative writing, but for collaborative annotations, if possible, we'd like to leave the document intact, and we don't really want it in a way that a student can just come along and delete a whole section of the reading, which makes it a little bit difficult for other students. Similarly, if we jump back to the student view, we can see that we can actually delete threads. So if the teacher starts a thread as a question or another student starts something, it's possible for students to delete each other's annotations. So this is just something you might want to keep in mind. Now looking here, what types of annotations can we do? And as we can see, it looks like we can only do text-based annotations. There's no option to insert a picture in the annotation or a video or to draw or anything like that. Of course, we could probably insert some shapes or things like that, but in terms of being able to put stuff right into the annotation, it looks like we're limited to about the same amount as Google Docs is. Additionally, in terms of assigning completion conditions, in terms of perhaps assigning students to do 3 annotations for them to complete the assignment, it's not something we can really track so easily here in Microsoft Word, but Microsoft Word also works together with lots of learning management systems that do offer the tools so that you could review what the students did by maybe looking at this and then giving them a separate grade. So let's jump right into Compliancy. And this is something that Microsoft has a really big advantage because for most of their products, they've established a FIPA compliant way of doing business. They've had servers here in Canada, and they've proved that they're pretty capable in terms of security. And so Microsoft Word, as it's FIPA and FERPA compliant, it's something that your school should not really have any issue with. But again, it's something that, similar to Google, you might have to ensure that your Microsoft subscription, whether it's personal or whether you're using it through your school, is specifically set up in such a way that all data is stored in Canada if you're Canadian, or in the States if you're from the States. In terms of importable resources, we can really bring almost anything into Microsoft Word. We can open up PDFs, we can bring in image files, videos, all kinds of things. So really you're not going to be restricted by what you might want to import into Microsoft Word as your class material. Finally, in terms of learning management system interoperability, this is another thing that, similar to Google, Microsoft has had a lot of luck with, most likely because they're a massive company and they have the resources to work together with all the major learning management systems like Canvas, Schoology, Moodle, Blackboard, etc., etc. So if you're worried about it working together with your learning management system, it shouldn't be a big issue, and whoever is handling the learning management system and tech integration at your school or institution should be able to deal with that quite easily. All right, so that's it for Microsoft Word and how we can use it for collaborative annotation. As always, if you're having any issues or challenges with tech and you want to do something in your classes but you don't know how, please reach out to me. Let me know in the comments, and please don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe. And if you have any colleagues that might benefit from this information, please go ahead and share it with them. I'd really appreciate that. All right, so remember, learning is everything, everything is learning, and stay healthy. Bye-bye.